Robert, can we turn down the music, please, or turn it off? Thank you. Members of the club, welcome to our A.G.M. I am not the person that is going to officially start the meeting. Our Gil Scott will chair the meeting this evening. I am just officially welcome you all here and thank you for coming. This is a very, very, very important meeting for Melbourne Cricket Club. This is long overdue, and I know that most of our members appreciate the fact that we are now gathered here this evening to start our usual annual A.G.M. meeting that we have had over the years. And we broke for a little while, but we are back, and hopefully we will continue as we were before. But to really take over the meeting, I now pass it on to Gil, our usual MC, our usual man who runs this show very efficiently, and Gil Scott.
I think we need to probably put the mic up a little. Put the podium up because there's no mic. There's no mic. The mic is up. And put the podium up. Everybody can come a little closer because we're having some technical difficulties with the mic. If you want to hear, you might have to take a step up. Seat up. No back engine. No high school thing. Take a seat up for me, please. Up to the front. Yes, if you can take a step up, that would be great. They're coming, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming, they're moving, they're moving, they're moving, they're moving. Take it away, Mrs. Scott. The mic now work. Okay, all right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
It is a privilege to be asked to perform this role again. Just as an aside, I had no idea. A friend just told me that it was scheduled to coincide with my movements. I just happened to have come back to the island last night, and I have been advised that the date was set around my schedule. Well, man for lie, but no so. Anyway, it's my privilege to assume this role, and so the incumbent president has already extended welcome, but let me add my voice of welcome to you to take time out to be part of this procedure, this event this evening. I don't know if we have enough programs so that everybody can have one, but if you don't, I invite you to share with someone. And so the first item of business is for me to read the notice convening the meeting so that we can officially get underway. And so, notice convening the meeting. All members are hereby invited to attend the 127th Annual General Meeting of the Melbourne Cricket Club to be held at the Melbourne Oval, 17 Courtney Walsh Drive, Kingston 10, on Thursday, June 27th, commencing at 7 p.m., signed by the Secretary, Neil Rees. Or meeting or notice convening the meeting having been read, I would now ask Mr. Treddy Lee to say a prayer. Treddy. Yes. I ask Treddy to say a prayer. Yes, yes, man. Yes, man.
You know, sometimes it's good. There's a saying that you must walk with a sermon in your pocket, and I think then, having said that, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering this evening, and as we gather to deal with the business of the Melbourne Cricket Club, we ask that for your presence, we ask for your guidance. We seek the presence of the Holy Spirit to guide us through this meeting. And may the conversation and the discussion that takes place here this evening be to the betterment and the growth of this club, and to honor and glorify you. And all these things we ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Treddy. See, you must know your people, you know. Now we need to ascertain that we have a quorum. Mr. Secretary, what is our quorum, sir? I am reliably advised that we have a quorum. Do we have any apologies for absence? Any apologies for absence? Bradley and Paula Jacks. Larry Crichton.
Zachary Harding.
Zachary Harding. Any other?
Javel Glenn, the cricket captain, is traveling. Is in cricket in England, so he's unavailable.
For the record, Javel Glenn, the captain of the Melbourne cricket team, who is unavoidably absent. All right, thank you. Any expression of apology for lateness? People you know who are coming but who are not here yet? Okay. No apology for lateness. Do we have any reports of obituaries? Do we have reports of obituaries? May I suggest that the list be provided to the Secretary to be entered into the minutes of the meeting?
We have Mr. Chairman,
Sheet in the booklet.
yes.
So if somebody else is not here,
Where?
it will
Where would I find that?
Close to the back, about 3 pages from the back. 2 pages. From the very back.
Okay. As you all know, it's been a while since we've had an annual general meeting because of COVID and other circumstances. And so allow me then to read the list of condolences covering the period 2020 to 2023. For the month of January 2022, we had Dudley May, Linford Guthrie, Louis Castriota. February 2021, Demario McDowell, or the mother of Demario McDowell. Am I? Yes. Okay. The mother of Demario McDowell. 2022, the mother of Junior Hall and the mother of Glendon Newsom. 2023, we had Harold Williams, brother of our Monica Williams. Osu. For 2024, in March, we've had Merkuth Baker. Oh. I'm sorry. It's not laid out chronologically. So, forgive me. Let me see if I can sort it out for you. April 21st, we lost Bobby Williams, brother of Monica Williams. And in 2020, the father of Demario McDowell. Also in 2020, we lost Keith Reese, brother and brother-in-law of the Reese family. So that's 2021. Let's now move to 2021, July. Alva Anderson. September 2020, the father of John Hibbert. Father of John Dillon Kirk. Father of John Hibbert and the mother of Dillon Kirk and Desreen. December 2020, the grandmother of Nikita Miller. In 2021, we lost one of the cornerstones of the club, Roddy Williams. August 2021, the mother of Ray Stewart, Hazel, is working now. The sister of Melvin Marsh. In 2020, October, we lost David Wilson, the wife of William Reeson. And Alfred Harpaul. Went last year, right? I am advised that I should just read the names of the deceased. So we have, in addition to the ones I've already called, Roy Huntley, Orville Dixon, Ronald Mackenzie, Trevor Chen, the brother of Rudolph Brown, the father of John Hibbert, the mother of Dylan, Kirk, and Desreen. I think I've already mentioned the grandmother of Nikita Miller. Already mentioned Roddy Williams. We also lost Charlton Barnett. The sister of Melvin Marsh, David Wilson, Trevor Barnes, and Alfred Harpaul. I may have repeated a few, but let us accept those as expression of our condolences, and may their souls rest in peace. May we observe a moment of silence for all of the departed that we have identified. Thank you. I think we've already ascertained that we have a quorum. We've done the apologies and the obituaries. Now we arrive at the President's welcome and his report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I did say good evening, but I think actually now is the right time for me to welcome everybody. So, good evening once again to all. In hearing the chairman mention some of the names that have passed since we last met, of course the name of Roddy Williams really stands out. If he was alive, he would certainly be here today. And for those of you who don't know who Roddy is, you're certainly not a Melbourne person, because Roddy Williams was a cornerstone of this club. So rest in peace, my friend. So let me start my presentation. Good evening and welcome to the 127th Annual General Meeting of the Melbourne Cricket Club. It is wonderful to see so many familiar faces here tonight, and it really feels like an eternity since we all gathered formally like this. It has been over 4 years. As many of you know, I've had the honor of serving as president for Melbourne Cricket Club for the past 11 years. Looking back, the last 3 years, particularly the COVID period, from March 2020 to 22, have been the most challenging of my tenure. The club was forced to close its doors, with only the bar reopening in 2021. It was a tough time, not just for Melbourne, but for the entire world. Despite these challenges, we have overcome many of the obstacles we faced, and we are now in a strong position to rebuild and move forward. The past few years has been testament to the resilience and dedication of our members. We have had some tremendous outcomes, and I'm incredibly proud of what we have been able to accomplish together. Tonight, we are here to discuss the club's progress, review our performance, and outline our plans for the future. I want to start by acknowledging and apologizing for the absence of our annual general meeting for the past 4 years. Of course, 2 of those years was COVID, and we could not have had a meeting. The only time that we could have possibly had a A.G.M was in 2023, but we were going through a lot of changes at that time and were unable to put it together. So please accept my apology for not having an A.G.M earlier. This meeting will focus on our achievements and the challenges to date. Let me begin with our cricket program. During the no movement period, we lost many young cricketers to other clubs. This was a disappointment for all of us, and we could have done more to maintain contact and strengthen relationship with some of our young players. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Robert Samuels, Nikita Miller, and others who have contributed significantly to the revitalization of our youth program. Their dedication and hard work have not gone unnoticed and profoundly impacted the development and success of our youth cricket initiatives. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge James Stewart, our second vice president. And I don't know why James is at the back, he should be here. James, not because of your size, we can squeeze in somewhere. James, okay. But James played an indispensable role in the various areas of our cricket, often going beyond by taking the role of manager for multiple teams, which require great personal sacrifice from him and his family. Although James has decided not to seek re-election, his contribution to our team will always be remembered and appreciated. And I personally want to thank James for all that he has done for the cricket. As I said, when many of our more illustrious known players, the Robert Samuels and Nikita Miller, were unavailable, James not only took on the role of manager, but he also took on the role of coach. He took on the role of the main transport person for most of the teams, and without his contribution, Melbourne could not participate in many of the competitions that we did. So personally, I just want to thank you, James. Job well done. Melbourne has achieved some cricket success in 2023, finishing second in the 50-over tournament. Unfortunately, we did not advance to the finals of the Senior Cup this year, but remain optimistic and confident in our ability to achieve the level of success we have come to expect in the remainder of the 2024 season. At the youth level, we were finalists in the Kingston Wolves competition. I want to commend the youngsters for their outstanding effort. Our female cricketers continue to do extremely well, and we finished runners-up in 2023 and 24 tournaments. We have an exceptional, we have an exceptional group of ladies, and I hope we will continue to grow this area and involve as many young ladies as possible as we move forward. And again, that's a really bright area for us because women cricket in Jamaica is very difficult. We don't play enough cricket, the ladies don't get enough support, but somehow they manage to turn up for games despite the fact that they hardly train, and it is somewhat disjointed, but their commitment to Melbourne and to cricket is really commendable, and they really hold a special place in my heart. I really hope as we go forward that's something that we can focus on, because I think the development of female cricket in Jamaica is very important, and it's very important also for Melbourne. We are currently in a Junior Cup competition, which has been fully funded by the corporate area clubs. Thus far, we have played 2 matches and have won both. We aim to use this cricket program to attract young cricketers from all over the island. We always aim to be at the top at all levels of cricket that we are involved in. But this requires the support of many people. Some are already involved, and some we hope to get involved as part of the new administration. Let me now speak about infrastructure development. We are now embarking on the development of our cricket playing area. A big effort has been made to maintain the field to a certain standard. Prior to this, we only had one pitch available for training and matches. However, we are now adding 2 more pitches, bringing the total to 3. This will allow our cricketers to have a better service to train and play matches on. It will also serve to attract young players to the club as we continue to improve the facilities. As you guys know, cricket field is a very important part of what we are all about at Melbourne. You come here and you see the field very green. It's not because we can afford to water it, I can assure you. Thank God for the rain, because without that, our field would not be in the kind of state that it is. But I want to thank the groundsmen for their effort, and many other people who play a role in keeping and maintaining the field. The grass is of great quality, so all we need is water to keep it going. I'm very happy that we are now adding a couple pitches, because before we really struggled with 1 pitch, and a club like Melbourne cannot only use 1 cricket pitch. So that I'm excited about. We have also undertaken some improvements both inside and outside the facilities. I'd like to extend my gratitude to Robert and his team at General Painting for their invaluable support throughout this process. Robert really helped us. He painted outside for us free of cost, and some areas inside, and very grateful to them for that investment in Melbourne. Additionally, we have put some additional lighting in the driveway, as you might see as you come in, and the entrance and driveway and the entrance, and we have recently trimmed some trees, improving visibility and safety. The changing rooms and kitchen areas also received some significant upgrades. If you go in the changing room, you'll see that we have done quite a bit of work there over the last year or so, and I'm happy for that also. Throughout my tenure, we have made the maintenance and improvement of our facility one of the cornerstones of our focus. We have improved the sidewalk. Many of you are old-time Melbourne people know that there was a time when we had no sidewalk at all, and the front of Melbourne really looked very terrible. But we embarked on a significant program a few years ago, and we redid the sidewalk. We have installed an irrigation system here, and unfortunately, we just can't afford to pay for the water that the irrigation system uses. Right now, we water the field 3 times a week, 20 minutes each zone, and we have 6 zones. And I'm sure the treasurer will probably be complaining about the water bill because it has gone up significantly. But if we want to maintain the field, we have to do some watering. So the irrigation system is working, and we just need to be able to afford to pay for the water. We have also upgraded by having water tanks, improved the cricket field. We replaced a roof, among other enhancements over my tenure. Ensuring our facility meets the standards expected by all members has always been a top priority for me. I want to make sure that when people come here, they're comfortable and they can enjoy our facilities. Moving forward, we remain committed to further enhancing and diligent maintenance. I will share more details about our future plans shortly in my presentation. Next, I'd like to address our lease arrangements with various entities. As some of you may know, we currently lease the area at the back to JetCon. We lease the parking lot to another business up the road that they park their cars there. And of course, our newest tenant, Tiffany, which operates the bar and kitchen. We also rent wall space, and we have a new neighbor coming that has already signed up for a double panel, and that is Pure Water next door. So they'll be added to the wall. We also continue to rent the premises for private functions. These lease agreements, wall, and property rentals play a crucial role in generating much-needed revenue for the club. Over the years, one of the things that we have decided, and I think it's to our credit, is that relying on cricket to keep Melbourne going is just not feasible. we have to try and maximize the facility as much as possible, and leasing out the premises to various people have afforded us the comfort and the security for us to continue to fund our cricket program even when cricket is not being played. And so that is something that we will continue to look to do as those opportunities present themselves. Regarding our arrangement with Tiffany, was leased the kitchen and bar, I am pleased to report that it has been mutually beneficial. Their oversight of the bar and kitchen has not only attracted new clientele and potential club members, but also revitalized the social atmosphere for our club. Importantly, it has put an end to the financial bleeding we were experiencing shortly before reopening from the impact of COVID-19. So I think the relationship with Tiffany has been an overwhelmingly positive one for the club, and I'm optimistic that it will continue to thrive in the years ahead. This lease arrangement, along with the other previously mentioned, has allowed us to carry surpluses in our account and relieve the financial strain that we were previously experiencing. So again, this relationship that we have formed with Tiffany for leasing and kitchen and bar, as I said, has been really very positive, and it has really helped us a lot, because prior to that we were really in a bad way in terms of members coming in and participating. So I'm really happy for that. And some of our Tiffany's clients have become members, and hopefully will even become a part of our committee as we move forward. Now let me speak about our future. I'm very confident about the future of Melbourne. It looks very promising. Achieving this will demand a collective team effort. I must acknowledge that our previous committee, not enough members were as active as we would like. Our club secretariat was dormant for a year. Little or no information was being communicated to the membership, and in fact, I was unable to even secure information from that source. I hope that whoever is elected to serve in that position in new administration will understand the importance of service rather than self. I am grateful to all other members for their service. I want a special thanks to Mr. Richie Gale, and Robert Wright for their contribution, particularly in the areas of financial. Looking ahead, I'm optimistic that the new administrative team will approach their roles with earnest dedication and contribute significantly to the realization of our shared vision. We have to commit to regularize the ownership of the Melbourne property, and that is something that has been long-standing. And I hope as we go forward, we're going to make a big effort to make sure that the ownership of the property is properly titled, and so we can get that behind us. This is something that we attempted to do before, that is to regularize the ownership of the property, but the attorney who we hired passed during the COVID lockdown period, and we were unable to retrieve the documents from her estate. So we have to restart the process. But we must get this done. This should be a very big priority for us as we move forward. We're looking to restart the highly successful Melbourne 5K in March 2025, and we're already in discussions with the sponsors. The last event that was held in March 2020, just days before the COVID lockdown, we had over 1,500 persons who participated in that event. We have recently received approval for a well also, in case the members are not aware of that. I'd like to express my gratitude to Evan Reid for his invaluable contribution throughout the approval process, and without his support we couldn't do that. So thank you very much, Evan, for what you did. The next step is a really big one. We need to get $35 million to accomplish the well. So if there's anybody who's sitting down there who can write me a check, I would gladfully, gleefully, happily appreciate it. As the people start to shuffle. What does shuffling mean? I mean, anybody can write the check. And 35 million is just a start, because the well, I think, is a basis for a lot of what we want to do here at Melbourne in the future. But it starts with the well. The other thing is that we have to commence digging the well before January 2025. So we have only 6 months to get this $35 million. That's a big ask, but nothing is beyond us. What does our well mean for Melbourne? If we have a well, the cricket field will have constant water, which will enable us to rent the area for various activities and host many more cricket matches to boost the club revenue. It will also help us with our fulfilling our community responsibility and provide a feel for the area schools, for their sports there and other activities. Currently, we try our best to accommodate the schools in the area. Unfortunately, we can't always do it, simply because, once the kids finish with the field and we can't water the field, it takes sometimes weeks for us to revive it. And so that is a challenge. So if we have a well and we're able to water on a regular basis, then, all the schools in the area can come and use the facilities. And that is something that I think would be good for the club. Where cricket is concerned, it is crucial that we put some fencing around the key areas of the boundary to stop the balls from being lost and to prevent the damage of neighborhood properties and vehicles. The strange thing about these Melbourne gentlemen, that when they hit sixes and the ball go to the ground and hit a car, it never hit a Vox yet. It always hit a Mercedes or a BMW. I don't know what is it about these guys. And what they're doing, they don't hit the windscreen, which you can replace the windscreen. It hit the side mirror or the reflector. It's just crazy. We have spent a hell of a lot of money replacing various things on these vehicles. Now, if you can think about it, if we have nets above the side screen in both areas, the north and south, and on the east and west side of the field, then once somebody hit a six ball, it hit in the net and drop back on the field. It will save us thousands and thousands of dollars. As a matter of fact, some T20 matches that the JCA would give us, they no longer give us, because when those matches are played here, we lose sometimes up to 20 balls. Because as soon as a man hits a ball for six, and the ball go over either down there or over that side, you don't get back the cricket ball. And so that has prevented us from hosting a lot of matches. And with what is going on now in the cricketing world, T20 is where it's at. So if we can't get T20 matches, it means that we're able to host cricket. So we have to think outside the box, and this is one way of doing it. So again, volunteers, anybody can help us to put up that netting. It's very similar to the netting that you'd use when you're playing golf. If you know that big netting, we're grateful for that. And there are a lot of people here in construction who can help us. So that is something that we need to do as we go forward. Now, can you imagine if we have the netting, we have the well, and we have lights here? What would happen to Melbourne? We'd be totally transformed. We'd be the only cricket ground in Jamaica outside of Samina Park with lights. The fact is that Melbourne is ideally suited for this kind of cricket because of our location and our size. If you look at the grounds in the world that T20 cricket is played at, they are usually small grounds because people want to be entertained with sixes, right? They want to see high scores. And so Melbourne is in a perfect position to take advantage of that. What we need is the resources, and we need people working together. I'm very confident that based on the kind of individuals that we have now that are part of the club, this is something that is quite achievable. Did I hear yes? Did I hear yes? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I was hoping I was hearing yes. No, this vision of mine, and it's not a vision of mine alone, but vision of our committee, is something that can become a true reality. And I hope that as we move forward, we can think outside the box where Melbourne is concerned. I've always tried to think outside the box because I think, as I said earlier, if you focus only on just cricket, then, cricket clubs in Jamaica going to die. Because we don't play enough cricket, we don't have enough resources. So I'm looking forward to the future. I'm looking forward to us playing T10, T20 night cricket here for both male and female, for all different ages. I'm looking forward to us using the facility, utilizing the facility. I see a gentleman here who's part of the table tennis program, who I hope will be part of our committee as we move forward. I'm excited about the fact that we have so many people from diverse groups that are now being part of Melbourne. And so I want to thank you for your support over the many years that I've been president. I look forward to continue to serve in that capacity. I think there's still work to be done. I certainly hope I'll get your support. I look forward to if you choose to elect me going forward, that the committee that will be part of that process will be a working, vibrant one that will help us to achieve the goals that many of us sit down and dream about as Melbourneites. So from me to you, God bless you and thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is not on the agenda, and he has spoken at length, but I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If anyone has any question of any matter that you would like the President to elaborate on, 5 minutes. If you have anything that you would like the President to either elaborate or clarify. All right, I don't see any indication.
Actually, the well is supposed to be drilled in the corner. You said there's a piece of machinery there. Yeah, as you come through the gate, on the right side, just beyond the scoreboard, that's a designated area for the well. That's where we got approval from the National Water Resource to drill the well right there. And because we are not close to water, this is why it's going to cost us so much money. We have to go down, is it 600 feet? No, 350 feet to hit water. So that's why it's going to be so expensive. I suppose if we start digging now, we might get there by Christmas. If we all,
Thank you, Mr. President. Did I see another hand? No? All right. All right, let's return to our agenda then. I didn't see any requirement for the adoption of the President's report, but my experience tells me that it having presented, we must now move for the adoption of the President's report. I hear a move. Do I have a seconder? Yes. Okay. Can we then ask the meeting to indicate by show of hands for the adoption of the President's report? I'm not counting, but I see a majority of hands. Thank you. Next item on your agenda is the reading and confirmation of the minutes of the 126th Annual General Meeting held on February 6, 2020. Now, as we have heard, we've gone, 3 or 4 years without an annual general meeting. So the last minutes that we would have had would have been for the meeting held in 2020. I believe it's in your handout. So if you have your handout, I am going to take it as having been read. So can I get a motion then moving for the minutes having been read? Can I have a motion? Monica Sue seconded. 2 hands over here. Sorry, I don't know the names, but I think the secretary does. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Is it realistic to then seek matters arising? I don't think so, but I'm only the chairperson. Will the meeting please help me? I am being advised that we then move to the item number 9. So we can then ask for the managing committee report. And who's presenting that? The secretary advises me that it's in your handout, and we are going to ask, with your permission, that we take it as having been read. And if you agree, then are there any matters arising? Are there any matters arising from the managing committee's report? That's my second ask. My third and final ask is, are there any matters arising from the managing committee report? And there being none, can we then move for the adoption of the managing committee report? May I see a show of hands? I only see one. Can we see a show of hands for the adoption of the managing committee report? Carried. Carried. The Treasurer's report for the period 2020 to 2023. May I invite the Treasurer to present his report.
Mr. Chairman, thanks very much for inviting me. Fellow club members, thanks very much for being here again. You know, as usual, I like to raise the spirit of the meeting a little dead. Scott, you know me and mine.
Yes.
That's if I can find something, folks. Wrong mic. All right. What was that, Mr. Scott?
That means you must ask to the meeting. It's a meeting, you must ask that.
Let's see if we can make this a night to remember. While I think I still have it, still in a position, can I ask somebody to take a round of, take an order for a round of drinks so we can move on. Whilst we're getting that done, I will,
Who's paying for that, Mr. Chairman? You?
one of us,
Oh, what about? Okay.
one of us,
Okay. You want to be clear about that,
one of us.
Okay.
Let me start by saying that something special is happening tonight. I don't know if you don't realize. Is that we're streaming this meeting for the very first time. Right? And the whole idea is that if we can get our overseas members involved to know what is going on, right? So at least when the time comes, we can ask them for more assistance. Right? So it's a first for us. So let's give ourselves a round of applause for that. We can do this thing in a short time, or we can go for the long haul.
Short.
Well, the short time is, all I have to do is ask you, I presented the report, ask you to move for adoption of the reports, and I go and sit down, or you can move to reject the accounts, and I take my seat. But if you want to go on, we can go for a ride. Because member has a long history. And it's always important that you know your history, right? You know where you're coming from, how you got here, and where you're going. If you don't know your history, chances are that you'll make mistakes. You'll repeat some of the mistakes that we made in the past. And that's the whole point of knowing history. We got here at Melbourne Cricket Club where you are now because of a certain history. It's a failure that we had at another property that we owned. Right? At the old Melbourne. That's at Elliston Road. Right? I just said that we have something to protect. We lost that, and if we're not careful, God forbid, it could happen again. But let's hope that we have learned our lesson and it won't happen again. Right? I was fortunate, I was one of the fortunate ones when we lost that place in the 60s. Right? I was one of the first students that went to the new campus at Elliston Road in 1965. Right? So, a loss to Melbourne Cricket Club was a gain to Kingston College, and I benefited. And I am still here now. All right? Because we must realize what the founding fathers had for us. When the Gunter's brothers, that's the name of the people who put the club together, Gunter's, some brothers that came and started the club. 1892 is a long time, you know. Right? You know how much institutions have failed, right? That has never lasted so long. And here we are, going on, right? We need to protect it. And this is for us to pass on to the youngsters coming up, our kids, right? So you have to treasure this. 1892, we only can think about a year. Right? Anyway, that said, the reports are before you, and believe me, I am extremely tired. I haven't been up from 1:30. All right, so I won't be long. Unfortunately, the technology has failed us. Right? I have data on my hard drive there, took here, and it won't connect. So some of the things that I'm talking about, I was hoping that you'd see for yourself. And some of the information that you don't see here, you would see there. I have some current figures for you. Right? I was bringing some figures up to date for tonight. Right? Scout. And what you're looking at here is history. Right? We can't change this. Right? So, let's not go back too far. Right? Let's look at the most recent set of accounts we have, which is the 2023 as compared to the 2022 figures. The other reports are there. And what has happened is that Melbourne has have a hard time. A topsy-turvy ride. Right? If you look in these accounts, we made some money in 2019. Right? I'm going to put on my glasses. Right? But the other years, we've been losing money. And unfortunately, that including in those losses, were losses made by the bar. And I said that's unfortunate because the bar has always been a profit center of the club. Right? So when you start lose money from the bar, you know you're in deep waters. Right? So, when the time came that we had to make a decision as to what we do with the bar, and along with it, the kitchen, right? The decision was hard, but it became easier as we look at the operation and the trend, right? The offer that we got is nothing new, but the time is different. We got this offer from probably about 10, 15 years before. I wouldn't take it up because we had a good management structure in place to properly run the bar. Right? We operate here as a members club. Nobody, it's all volunteer work, right? So it's all based on trust. We have to trust each other, Right? Nobody is here policing anybody. They say, boy, you're doing this and doing that. If the president bring a bill to me and say, boy, buy some gas for the lawnmower, I don't have to question if he buy some gas for the lawnmower. He has bought some gas for the lawnmower. Right? He just need to get back the money. Right? And that's the way it should be. It's all honesty and integrity. Right? It's what you call trust. Right? There's a doctrine of trust. When you say that, boy, a man give his word, that's what we're talking about. Your word is your bond. You shake your hand and you move on. You know, say it's done. Right? So, the last period we have before here, which is 2023, we showed a loss of $2.7 million. And I was going to share with you tonight. I had a look at the numbers before I got here. At today's date, under the new regime, sitting on one leg instead of three legs, because we now operate just the club account. There's no more bar, there's no more kitchen. Right? And at today's date, we are at $3.2 million in profits. Right? At today's date. I didn't want to tell you this, I was going to show it to yourself. It's right there. You could dig into the figures. Right? We hope that you'll have some other earlier time to see these figures because we are having this meeting now. The year ends on the 30th of June. Right? When you're going to the next figure, when we're going to keep the next general meeting? Huh? Huh? So, new election of officers are just a special meeting for the report, Mr. President. Right? But we're doing well on one leg. Right? And I want to thank Ms. Thompson, Tiffany Thompson, for coming on board. Right? Because you have helped us tremendously. You have taken us a lot of weight off, well, I don't know nobody else, off me. Because every day when somebody come asking you for a check, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have that. And you're not even seeing the benefit of it. No, I don't have that headache. Right? I just come and I go to the bar or the kitchen, pay a bill, and go home. Somebody look about that film. I did send out my the treasurer's report. I hope you got that. That is in summary. It basically recap what I thought happened over the 4-year period. We were always struggling for money. Always struggling for money. Fortunately, not today. I want to make some mention of some special people, in particularly donors, people who don't need money here, because they don't have to do it. Right? When somebody goes to them way and give you money, you're fortunate. I'd like to say, first I'd like to mention that Mr. Ferdinand Johnson, who at one time was first vice president of this club, some time ago, he's still a trustee. I'm one of the person on the title of the property, right? He gave us $50,000 from the estate of his sister, 50,000 Jamaican dollars. We got another donation of $2,000 US from the estate of the late Rudolph Scott. Right? People go to them way to do this way. Right? And lastly, O'Shea and Thomas. O'Shea and Thomas is somebody that has always been contributing to the club. he recently or last year gave us a ride-on lawnmower. All expenses paid. We need to have and encourage more cricketers. Imagine if we had 3 more of O'Shea Thomas playing in the IPL. Last year we got 10,000 US dollars from the Jamaica Cricket Board coming from the West Indies because of the IPL contracts. O'Shea Thomas. We need to work on the cricketers, develop them some more so that they can go on to bigger things and can in turn help Melbourne Cricket Club. So I said I'd mention those 3 people's names because I said when people go to them, we have to give you something that them don't have to do. Some people who supposed to pay them dues don't even want to pay them dues. Right? And that is your personal thing. But somebody go to them way and give you something, you have to give thanks. All right, so I don't know if anybody want to ask any question. I mean, the numbers before I say, sorry, I can't show you any figures. We're doing well. Careful about the well. We're getting there, but we have to be careful. What we have is really a fixed income stream, right? We're not like before that you can, yes, we can put on a party, so but the kitchen and the bar is not our responsibility anymore. So we have to do the rent we get, less work, but it is what it is, right? It's sure, right? The other thing was unsure and we couldn't manage it, all right? So that's really it from me without going into details of the report I have presented. So I'm sorry that you have been looking at me instead of looking at the screen. This is numbers. I don't know if anybody wants to ask anything, right? Yes, Simon. Oh, that's Mr. Nita. Mr. Nita. I have not been asked.
Strategy?
Yeah, I'm asking the strategy. I said that Mr. Nita is leading that charge. I don't want to put my hand or mouth in it right now. Anybody? Going once, going twice? I don't see the drinks yet. Yes, Mr. Fagan. 3.2. No. That was before. We got those money before. That helped finance us through the lean period. Right? But we still have some of the cash in the bank. I just have to be careful with it because we got 10,000 US dollars in a month. It reached down to half. Yes, Mr. Dawes. Dawes. No, I don't get you and say put one account. Or you come by and say we are operating on one leg, one department. No, instead of 3 departments.
I think I've heard you say that
Yeah.
you're not separating their accounts anymore. That's what I've heard, right?
No, we didn't say anything about separating accounts. Yeah. Oh, I see the drinks coming. Thirst. Any other questions? Mr. Fagan II.
My bad manners. Good evening, members. You mentioned the turnaround and you showed what I would call really impressive figure in terms of where you were coming from. But you also indicated that this was from one, let me call it revenue source or revenue stream, and which is good, but I am saying it would be better if you would indicate what are the plans to diversify the revenue streams. As I said, maybe it's a premature question and maybe there are plans to extend the revenue streams, but it's just a consideration to discuss the plans going forward to acquire other revenue streams. Thank you.
Well, what we have been doing is really utilizing the asset we have, and which is a facility at the place. So what we've been doing is doing more renting when it's more feasible. So apart from the fixed income that you have, whenever we get rental for the facility, the space is there. Tiffany has our space there. We have our space upstairs on other part of the ground. So the emphasis is really on renting, and then the cricket field, once we get the thing in order, we get more events. East Side is always looking out for us. We play for years we've been playing the Grace Finals and whatever here.
Yeah, I appreciate that response. I just want thought to be given to even further diversification of the revenue streams. Thank you. It doesn't seem so, but
Any other question? Yes, Mr. Fagan again. You're on the ball.
I'd like to ask, there is provision in the arrangement with your tenants. Is it working?
I'm taking it off and we'll watch it up for.
Because you speak so much about renting.
Yeah.
I'm asking if there is a provision in the lease arrangement to kind of ask the tenants to break while you take on any arrangement. That's what I wanted to find out.
Yeah, I understand. We have a cordial relationship. Right? We try not to get in each other way. We book these things and we plan around each other. Right? Tiffany is very understanding on my side. I'm also very appreciative of the work that she's doing. That I'm not doing anything to get in her way. Right? So we have a very cordial relationship. Anything else?
Melbourne plans have benefited somehow by virtue of having guys coming in, using bar or whatever this happens. Did Melbourne sort of put in a word? Whether should the Minister of Sports or win? You know, through you otherwise.
I don't know if I listen to anybody. I know they're regretting it now. I know they are regretting it now because the feature that I get from the television rights and all of that, feature on the island, we can't pay for that advertisement. Right? So to me, is a bit of short-sightedness. Right? Right, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Good idea. We can have everything, anything that you want, we can have. It's not that we have to do it. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. So, we take your word. If you want to lead on it, we'll follow you. All right. Enough of me. Thanks very much. See you in a couple months' time, the president said. Right? And hopefully technology will improve.
Wanna clap him now? Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. So we can see that we've gone through tough times, but brighter days are ahead. Is that a fair assessment? Thank you. Okay, we are moving along. We've had the treasury report, and now we have any other business. Oh, it's not on my agenda, but I take your point. Can we ask for a vote to adopt the treasurer's report? Can we ask for the adoption of the treasurer's report? Show of hands, please. Adoption of the treasurer's report. Majority has it. Duly adopted. Thank you. Are there any other business? I'm going to say, are there any other business? Are there any other business? Having asked 3 times and no response.
Mr. Chairman, I'm being prompted by members of this committee here to just mention one thing. Well, if you could just indulge me for a minute. I don't know how many people have the report. I have a couple more here that I can give out, but just to answer some of the questions about revenue and our plans for the future, right? It's actually all in here from the last meeting, but I'm going to read it so that we can be on the same page where that is concerned. Projects, events that are immediate and are being pursued. Now, give that to Mr. Steer for me, please. Now, this document was put together just prior to the close down of COVID in 2020. And if you look at it, our vision for the future has not really changed. What it says a gym and fitness center. We still have it as a goal of ours to establish a gym upstairs and a fitness center. As a matter of fact, we have engaged on numerous occasions people who are in that field who have indicated to us that they wanted to pursue a gym. And we have entered discussions, and it has not borne any fruit yet. But it doesn't mean that we're not going to pursue it, because there's an area upstairs that I think is ideal for that. It will add value to the membership here. And I know one of the things that people always talk about, you know, for my measly $6,000 to be members, what do I get for it? For the $500 a month, what are we getting for our membership? That's one of the things that we want to do. We want to do a gym upstairs. Now, we also want to do solar. And this is why strategically, I'm hoping that Mr. Val Fagan at the back there will be elected on the committee, because he's a genius in this area. Currently does a lot of work for JPS. And of course, he's wearing purple because he's a good KC old boy. So, but he can bring, somebody said yes, he can bring that level of expertise to the committee. And so that is something that we definitely want to pursue. It says completing the field restoration, which I spoke about at length. The perimeter fencing, nets, which I spoke about. The well, improvement and redesign on the club entrance, which is something that we actually started. The gym, meeting room, library, and the expansion of the hostel. You guys might not know, but we have a hostel at the back that we house sometimes 5 or 6 cricketers, guys who coming in from the country and who need a place to stay when they're playing matches. And we have some permanent residents, meaning some of the guys who have been there for quite a while and who represent Melbourne, and many of them have gone on to represent Jamaica. Our treasurer mentioned O'Shane Thomas. O'Shane Thomas has been the beneficiary of our hostel. He came here as a 16-year-old from Clarendon. And when he went on the bed, his foot was off the bed. He stayed there in that hostel for almost 5 years until he went on to represent CPL, the Talawas, Jamaica, West Indies. And this is why O'Shane is giving back so much to the club, because the lawnmower is just one of his many contributions, donations. I hope that the other players will do that. But I'm just highlighting these things because this is where our future lies. And I did mention the fact that the revenue stream that we have is not only dependent on Tiffany's. Yes, this is a major revenue stream for us, but we have leased the area at the back to JetCon for about 4 or 5 years now. We rent the car park, the space for parking. You know, we do the wall advertising, and we rent the facilities almost every week. Unfortunately, there's a lot of repasses, I must say, unfortunately. But we rent the property almost every week upstairs. You know, they have parties up there, function, various events. And that's one of the benefits too, I might add, of being a member of Melbourne. Because once you are a member of Melbourne, you'll have access to utilizing the facilities. Those of you who are in the Kiwanis or, you know, your associations or your alma mater, you can meet here at a reduced cost, and depending on the size of the group, maybe no cost at all. I'm going to whisper and say that. But this is one of the advantages. So I just want to highlight these things, guys, because in my presentation, I didn't have time to go through everything, but I want you to know that our thinking for the future goes way beyond some of the things that I spoke about in my presentation. Thanks for your indulgence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your elaboration. If you have your program, you will see that we are at any other business. I think I asked already, and I think there being none, I am going to ask someone to move for the conclusion of the formal part of the business meeting. Can someone so move? I see a hand seconded. Seconder, Mr. Jacks. So, thank you very much for your patience and your indulgence and your participation. We will then now move to the other part of the evening, and that is for the election of those who will guide the further management and development of the club. So we're at item, if you have your, we're at item number 14, election of officers. The offices that are up: President, First Vice President, Second Vice President, Secretary, Treasurer, Club Captain, and then we'll need 5 committee members. Let's start with President. Nomination for President. I have a nomination for Mr. All right, so first of all then, the current Board of Management or the current officers have to formally resign or demit office. And I think they have so done. I think they have all demitted office and they are now leaving. Mr. Jack, I think if you have, do you have a program? Do you have a program? Let me invite you to go to the very back of the program. Where there are indications, I don't know whether it's indication of interest. No, well, it might have been at the very back. So for the post of president, we see one nominee, Mark Nita. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Third and final time, are there any other nominations? There being none, Mark Nita has been returned as president uncontested. Mr. President, congratulations. Next office is First Vice President. There are no nominees. So the floor is open for nominations for First Vice President.
I make the nominee, Mr. Carter, please. Sorry, Mr.
Mr. We have a nomination for Mr. Robert Wright. Is there a seconder? Seconded. Mr. Secretary, I hope you're capturing the nominees and the seconders. Are there any other nominations? Evan Reed. Are there any other nominations? There being no other nominations, and the nominee having not declined, we now have a first vice president in the person of Robert Wright. Nominations are now open for the post of second vice president. Mr. Newsom. Mr. Carlton Facey has been nominated. Is there a seconder? Are there any other nominations? Yes, sir. Oh, it's been seconded already by Robert. Yeah. Are there any other nominations? Going once, going twice. There being no other nominations. Mr. Carlton Facey has been elected as the second vice president. For the post of secretary, I see one nomination for Neil Rees, and I assume that Mr. Rees is accepting to be nominated. Mr. Rees, I assume that you're accepting the nomination, sir? Yes, sir. Good. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Yes. Who? Diane Campbell. Diane Campbell has been nominated and seconded. Are there any other nominations? There being none, we now have two nominees, Neil Rees and Diane Campbell. So we need, there being only two, can we have a show of hands? Is that, no? No? Secret ballot? Okay. The ballots are being circulated. So let me remind you again, the nominees for secretary are Diane Campbell and Neil Rees. Okay, well, Mr. Rees, will you please stand so that people can know who you are? Diane Campbell, will you please stand so people know who you are? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where's the box? Where's the ballot box? Where's the ballot box? I am going to ask, I'm going to ask Monica Campbell. Monica Osu. Let me get Campbell from. Let me get Campbell from.
Diane Campbell.
Oh. I'm going to ask Monica Osu and Mr. Marsh to do the counting. Melvin Marsh, Monica Osu are now charged with the responsibility of counting the ballots. Are all the ballots in? Are all the ballots in? Okay, you have. Can I now take it that all the ballots are in? Okay. Nominations and elections are closed. So now we move to the counting of the ballots. That's a good suggestion. It has been recommended that while the ballots for the secretary are being counted, we can then move to considering the post of treasurer and ask for either expressions of interest or nomination. For the post of treasurer, Richard Gale has been nominated. Is there a seconder? You can nominate a second. All right. Neil, you've captured the nominee. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for the post of treasurer? Are there any other nominations for the post of treasurer? Final time, last time. Are there any other nominations for the post of treasurer? There being no other nomination, Richard Gale has been returned as the treasurer. Can we then move to the post of club captain? I have one nomination. Robert Samuels has been nominated. And I have several seconders. Are there any other nominations? For the second time, Robert Samuels has been nominated as the club captain. Are there any other nominations? For the third and final time, Robert Samuels has been nominated for the post of club captain. Are there any other? Robert Samuels has been acclaimed as the club captain. Now there is a post for other committee members. How many? There is an opportunity for 5 members to serve. I have a list of 4, so there's room for 1, assuming that the 4 are prepared to stand and that you will endorse the 4. So let me tell you who the 4 are. Okay. I am advised that the list is now down to 3 because 1 has been elevated. One has been elevated to higher office. So the 3 existing nominees are Evan Reid, Christopher Spencer, and Paul Stewart. So first of all, are those 3 persons available and ready to serve? Okay. So therefore, then, we have a vacancy for 2 nominees. The 3 are Evan Reid, Christopher Spencer, Paul Stewart. Thank you. My friends, I now have the results of the election for the post of secretary. There were 2 nominees, Neil Reese and Diane, what's her surname? Campbell, and Diane Campbell. You have voted. The votes have been counted. And I now have the results. Allow me, please. And the tally, there were 41 votes cast. Of the 41, Neil Reese, 11, Diane Campbell, 30. Diane has therefore been voted as your secretary. Congratulations, Ms. Campbell. We were at other committee members. There are 3 members who have indicated their interest in continuing. It is up to you, first of all, to decide whether you approve of their continuation. These 3 are Evan Reed, Christopher Spencer, and Paul Stewart. Let's take those first. Are you in agreement? Please. Those in favor? Any against? We now have a vacancy for 2 persons. Mr. John Ross Campbell has been nominated. Seconded by Robert. Yes. Mr. Noel Mason has been nominated. Is there a seconder? Seconded. All right. There are 2 nominees, Noel Mason and John Roskell. Are there any other nominations? Tariq White. Tariq White has been nominated and seconded. So there are now 3 nominees for 2 positions. Again, we must go into the democratic procedure of casting your ballots. Facilitator, Mr. And can we still get the same 2 volunteers to do the counting? Monica and Melville, will you again volunteer to do the counting? Which board? You are voting for 2 additional members for the committee.
What I'm saying is that we can't confirm these without a vote.
Okay.
You understand? Everybody's supposed to go to the vote.
Okay, all right. But
Yeah,
okay.
So we need 5 people. So everybody go to the vote.
I have been advised that, your attention please, I have been advised that although 3 persons have indicated their interest in continuing, the meeting must also confirm and accept them, so that we're really confirming a slate of 5 people. I thought we had already confirmed the 3 existing, so that we're only now contending with the 2 additional. Okay. The 3 had already been confirmed or accepted and confirmed. The 3 are Evan Reed, Christopher Spencer, Paul Stewart. 2. I
Mason, John Ross, and Terry.
John Ross, Tariq White, and Noel Mason. John Ross, Tariq White, Noel Mason. 2 of 3. Monica, go to work, please.
Poor Monica, let's go to Clara Williams again. You need a pen?
While the I don't have that on my thing. I don't have that. While the counting is underway, for the committee members, there are 2 other positions which require our attention. First of which is an audit committee requiring 2 members, and a board of trustees requiring 3 members. So, can we get nominations for the audit committee? Audit committee. Who are the present members?
For audit committee, Acosta and Dempster. Which Acosta? Harold Acosta.
The current members are Harold Acosta, who is not present, and Dalkeith Dempster, neither of whom are here. So, their absence doesn't mean that they do not qualify. It's entirely up to you. So, nominations are now open for members for the audit committee. 2 members required. One has been nominated. Please, Val Fagan. Val Fagan has been nominated and seconded. Nominated by Evan Reed, seconded by Tiffany Thompson. Okay. The second nominee, is there a second nominee for the audit committee? We need a second nominee for the audit committee. Can we therefore charge the board to inquire of the two incumbents? Can we?
Are you interested?
Let me suggest that we ask the president and the secretary or the treasurer, two of the three, to inquire of the two incumbents if either one
Yes?
Dougie Forbes? Seconded?
Yes. Yes.
Seconded?
Yes. Yes. It has been.
Okay. And Mr. Forbes accepts to serve? Okay. No, he's been made to accept. All right. I am now advised that the trustees, the existing trustees, the current trustees, are Roddy Mazuka, Richard Gale, Michael Hosu. Are all three persons prepared to continue in that role? Yes. Does the meeting accept and confirm the Board of Trustees as named? Rudy Mazuka, Richard Gale, Michael Hosu. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we are only awaiting now the confirmation of the two members of the audit committee. The audit. The audit committee, my book says, oh, sorry, trustees. No, but the trustees have been confirmed. So what are we counting? My notes are confusing.
Yeah, remember we had 5, so we confirmed 2.
Okay, all right.
3.
Okay.
I think so. I was about to say, they need something, you need that.
I know what my problem is. My cup is empty.
Your cup runneth over.
No, it doesn't run over. It run out. My cup run out. Okay. So we were dealing with the committee members for which we need 5. We already have 3, and so we needed 2 additional ones. 3 persons were nominated. Somebody named Mason, John Ross, and Tariq. The ballots have been counted. Mason has 12 votes. Tariq, but that's all I have is Mason. I don't know Mason what or Mason whom. Whether it's his profession or his name.
Noel Mason.
Thank you. Noel Mason
Don't let you have gotten your drink.
has received 12 votes. John Ross has received 28 votes. Tariq has received 28 votes. 28. Therefore, John Ross and Tariq are now added to the other 3 to make our 5 committee members. Our audit committee has been named. Your trustees have been named. Your management organization is now complete. And so is my job. Thank you. We now have the closing item is the President's closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master Ceremonies. Could the new managing committee executive please take your seat here for me, please? I want to take this opportunity to thank those who served with me in the past. Some decided not to go forward, and some were not returned via the ballot box. I want to thank Mr. Neil Rees for his service throughout the many years that he has been a secretary. And I want to welcome the new secretary, Ms. Diane Campbell. She's a long-standing Melbourne person. And for those of you who don't know, don't read the news, Diane was the former secretary of the Jamaica Cricket Association, and now she's an honorary member of the West Indies Cricket Board. Am I correct? That's no mean feat to be an honorary member of the West Indies Cricket Board. So I'm very confident that we have somebody who's very, very competent and who will serve this club very, very well. I must say that it's not often in the many years that I've been president that we have not struggled to find committee members. This is rather an unusual occurrence, actually, that we have more people putting up themselves to be part of this committee. So I'm very happy about that. For Noel Mason, he is somebody who approached us some time ago to restart our cricket program. Our table tennis program. Whatever the master ceremonies have, it's contagious because I'm catching it. And so, but I want to encourage him to, come around, get involved. You certainly, can be and will be a part of our Melbourne future. To Mr. Val Fagan, also, somebody with tremendous amount of skills that I think will be an asset to us. Despite the fact that you are not on this executive, you have been given a very important position in which to serve. And we are looking forward for you extending your expertise to us. So as we move forward with our desire to have the entire place lit by solar, and I know you are the person who can do it for us. To my new team, thank you, sir. I want to say how proud I am of this group of individuals. I feel really encouraged that we have some workers here, people who will, go forward and do well for us. People like Evan Reid, he has been just an indispensable part of what we do here at Melbourne, but he is of a different ilk. What I'm really happy about is to see people like John Ross Campbell, who is a former cricketer who just about stopped playing or still playing for Melbourne, still playing, but, and Tariq, the cricketers getting involved. And I think our future, this is where our future lies. I am really, really happy about that. But we have some of the stalwarts here who have been returned. I'm really happy that they are. I want to just highlight one thing before I go. Really happy about that. Can't leave out Chris and Paul for their contribution and their willingness to continue as we go forward. But to my fellow club members, I want to thank you for your support over all these years. Being president of Melbourne is something that I really take very seriously. There was a time, I must admit, maybe a year or so ago, that I felt that it was my time as president had come to an end. And I was really hoping at that time that somebody would step up to the plate and take over as we move forward. I feel confident now that with this group of people that if I were to step away in another year or so, that there's somebody here that can move the club forward. People who are passionate about the club, so I'm very, very happy about that. We have a long way to go. Melbourne has so much potential, and I'm happy to be working with these guys. To my first VP, Mr. Robert Wright. Robert and I have a friendship that goes, maybe 40, 50 years. It's been a long time. And he's somebody who is dependable, trustworthy, and very, very smart. And so I'm happy to have somebody like that as my first VP. To Mr. Facey, my second VP, he's really passionate about cricket, especially old people cricket. I just hope now that his second VP, that extends, that passion now extends to all areas, because you're filling literally, I don't know if I should say big shoes, but big pants in Mr. James. You're filling very big pants. So you have a big responsibility, because typically the second VP is a person who's going to be the person who will be driving cricket. So it's a big, big responsibility. I hope I haven't left out anybody, have I? Oh, I'm just grateful, guys. I just thank you all for your support. I'm grateful. And keep me honest, keep me working. And, Robert, oh, Jesus. Robert, the club captain. You know, when it comes to cricket and what especially former stars do to their cricket club, sometimes it's just terrible that a lot of the former cricketers the cricketers, a lot of cricketers, when they go on to play for West Indies or they become coaches for West Indies or whatever, they don't look behind them. They totally neglect their clubs and tell you that, oh, the club never do nothing for me. Like it was all done and, you know, on their own steam. People like Robert Samuels and Nikita Miller are not like that. These guys give back to the club. And they're not the only person in the recent past who have played cricket for the West Indies, who are Melbourne people. And a lot of them don't come around. So I'm always grateful to Robert. Robert keeps me really honest. He works. As a matter of fact, the pitch that we're doing out there, I asked him to take on that project of helping to lay the pitches, getting them level. And I want to thank Mr. Newsom too for his work in getting the pitch squared up and everything. And Robert has just run with that. So those pitches out there is Robert Samuels, who has championed that cause, who's directing that, and just doing an amazing job. So I want to thank Robert for that, really. Thank you very much, Robert. I did already mention Neil and give him thanks for everything that he has done. The master sermon is whispered in my ear, but maybe in between drinks, he didn't hear me thanking Neil Rees for his effort. But I did thank him, and he has done over the years a good job in being the secretary of the club, and has filled in, you know, I don't know how long Neil was the secretary, but for a very, very long time. But, you know, like everything else, you know, sometimes we have to move on. So, in closing, I just want to invite everybody to come to the bar and have a drink. It's all on the treasurer. The church is nowhere. The church is nowhere to be found. No, it's all right. So the drink is at the president. Yes, the drink is at the president. I want to thank you. I don't know if I missed anything or anyone. If I did, it was not on purpose. Tiffany, you have been a great addition to our family. Blonde Tiffany. Yes, I want to thank you, Tiffany. And what works well is the fact that we work well together. So as long as we can keep those lines of communication going, and sometimes agree to disagree, but always working in for the same cause, we'll have a great relationship going forward. So I want to thank you and your team for all that you do and helping to revitalize our club. Yes, Roddy. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, sir. I appreciate that. I didn't hear that, but whatever it was, I appreciate it as long as that was too critical. No. Not at all. Not at all. But I thank you. I thank you for all your good sentiments. As I say, what I would really like is if we could all really come together and achieve some of these things. You know, the well I mean, if we, listen, if we can do that well, that's $35 million. If we could somehow just come together and, find the support, the sponsors that will help us to start the process, that would be a big achievement. And I think for me, as president, one of the things that I really want to strive for is that whenever you guys, well, you're not going to vote me out, because I'm going to step aside before I do that. But I want to make sure that there's a continuation of the progress and that we don't have to dig ourselves out in a financial hole or we're in a trouble as a club. My hope is continuity, and that's why I'm so happy to see the cricketers coming forward and serving, because that is it. My generation, our time now is virtually at the end, right? Well, in terms of this process, but I'm being very careful when I say that. But yeah, we want to see the next set of people come forward. So I want to thank you. Let's have a drink. God bless you all. Have a good night. Let's all take a picture together. The committee. Everybody just come in front. Second VP. Come on the side. Where? Oh, damn. Oh, where's the other member?
I'm right here.
Where's Karen?
Put on a smile, man. Squeeze. Side up, yeah.
So where's Karen?
Really? Why are you so serious?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Terry had to leave.
Listen. Enjoy the fire. See you later. Get home.